Hello, and thanks for swinging by. Today I'd like to do my top 10 terrain making tools. So let's kick it off. At the top of the list we have the Magnavisor, and that's not the right name for it, but I'll be sure to put down below in the links the link to the actual product. Basically this is just an adjustable headband. It has magnifying lens, and then it also has LED illuminators. Now, when I first got this, I had a incandescent illuminator that sat in the middle, and it would eat through batteries like nobody's business. But since switching over to this, the LED, the batteries last significantly longer. I mean, this one's been going for over 3 weeks now, and that's daily use. I went ahead, and when I got this, I don't know if you can actually see there, but there is a difference in the thickness of these two, and this one has a higher magnification on it. In all honesty, was overkill. This one does fine for 99.99% of what I do. I've only used this one a little bit, and it forces me to bring my hands up closer to my face to get it in focus for whatever I'm working on. But I consider these to be essential daily use items that I put at number one as far as the tools that I use. Next up, I used to use X-Actos, but I've since switched over to Scalpels, and I don't know whether it's psychological or what, but it seems like these Scalpel blades last 4 to 5 times longer than an X-Acto blade. Incredibly sharp. Fortunately, I've only cut myself once with them. Changing out the blades is a little bit tricky. I know that they make a tool for that, but I didn't get it. I just use my multi-tool, and that is how I switch out the blades on that. Again, incredibly sharp, so you want to be careful of it, but it's a daily use tool. My next favorite tool at number 3 is my digital calipers. I have 2 of these. Out of the 2, this one's my favorite. I seem to burn through the batteries on this one quite a bit faster. It's a cobalt. There's a saying in construction, you're not building a piano. When you're building in miniature, you virtually are building a piano. So your tolerances have to be very tight. And to accomplish that, a caliper is a great tool. It really lets you get in on precise measurements. So that's number 3. Number 4 is my machinist square. It's just a little fella, but for the vast majority of what I'm doing, it works great. It has lips on either side of this bar so that it can fit over thicker materials, and it allows you to get a nice square cut or measurement or whatever it is that you're doing. Nice hard steel. It comes in at number 4. Number 5, my machinist stainless steel ruler. It has inches and millimeters on it. I also use it as a cutting guide. I love it. I use it virtually every day. Number 6, the Dremel. What can you say about the 1001 use Dremel, other than the fact that I love it so much that I have about 4 of them? Off camera, I have one that's permanently hooked up to the router. So it's a little Dremel router table. We use them all the time. We have a teeny tiny cordless one that my wife uses quite a bit to trim the dog's nails. That probably wasn't the use that I had envisioned when we initially got it, but she's kind of claimed that one, so be it. I have at least 3 others. Anyway, so the Dremel comes in at number 6, I believe. Was that number 6? Yes, number 6. Number 7. My shop teacher wisely once told me, he said that you can never have enough clamps. And he was right. Even though these are different styles of clamps, I have tons of clamps and need them for any type of construction work. And it's equally true when you're working in miniature. Next up, clippers. Now, these are 2 different types of clippers. This is for plastic sprue and soft materials. It's a nice set of clippers. I believe these are actually from Games Workshop, if I'm not mistaken. But they're soft metal. These are hardened steel clippers so that you can use them on things like hard wire. It's important to know the difference because hard wire will damage the edge on these clippers, whereas it won't on these. However, I use them both on a very regular basis, and they're very useful to have, especially when you need to get nice flat flush cuts. Next up, we have my foam cutting tools. Now, these are put out by Hot Wire Foam Factory, and I have their full set of foam cutting tools, including the monstrous, I think it's a 3-foot bow cutter for doing really massive pieces. But I also have a series of less than purdy foam cutters that my wife, who happens to have an electrical engineering degree, helped me make. And these are really great. Between these and the Hot Wire Foam Factory, I kind of like these a little bit more because I have a little bit more control over the amount of voltage that's going through. This is the Hot Wire Foam Factory power station. This is the Pro Power Station. It's perfectly good, but it doesn't give you as much oomph as this bad boy. This is an HY1803D DC power supply. And it's color coded here, so you know that the red goes into that slot, or input, output, and the black goes into the black one. Then you kick it on, and then you can adjust the voltage and the current and get precisely what you need. I believe this is like a $60 or $70 unit. I love it. It lets you really tune in to the temperature that you need to especially cut thicker foam, especially the EPS, but it's the blue board and the pink board foam. So that's number 10. My foam cutting tools are at 9. And then at number 10, I know, you're going to think I'm nuts, but I love my Legos. Especially because Legos let you do this. Whoops. You can build up perfectly square right angles, and you can build them as high as you need to, long as far out as you need to. And so for building walls and corners and making sure that they're square, excellent. I also use them when I'm making custom molds, silicone molds. I'll put clay down along the bottom, and then I'll fit these in a box form over it and then pour my silicone in. Great stuff. Love them. So they come at number 10. I don't use them quite as often as these other tools, but I do use them, and so they definitely rank up there. So there you go. my top 10 tools that I use in my shop. Now there's other tools that I have that I really, really love, but I just don't use them quite as much as these. And if I only had the opportunity to take 10 tools with me, those would be it. Thanks for swinging by, and as usual, play games and have fun.